Amazon Echo sent a private conversation to a stranger without being asked. Apple contractors were caught listening to Siri recordings from people's homes. And Tesla employees were caught sharing people's in-car camera footage without their consent. These are times smart devices recorded something they shouldn't have. In May 2018, a family in Portland, Oregon had a really freaky experience when their Amazon Echo decided to record a private conversation Danielle and her husband were having and send it to someone in her contact list. Without being asked, said contact, who lived in Seattle, called her and told her to unplug her Alexa devices because she was being hacked. He said he'd received an audio file of Danielle and her husband talking about hardwood floors. At first, the couple didn't believe it, but then he played back the recording. Danielle contacted Amazon, who said it was an extremely rare occurrence and that the device probably misinterpreted a word in the background as the wake word Alexa, then misheard the following conversation as a command to send a message to a contact. Bit of a stretch to me. That sounds like a very specific string of mistakes, but hey, could have been much worse. Luckily, the couple's leaked conversation was about hardwood floors and not another type of hardwood. 2019 news broke that Apple contractors were listening to snippets of users' Siri recordings. Apparently, it was for quality control, already bad enough, but add in the fact that a lot of these recordings were captured without the user ever saying, "Hey Siri," and this was a real breach of trust. Apple employees would listen to tiny audio clips, often just a few seconds, to check how well Siri understood commands, but some of these clips contained sensitive private information. I mean, these are recordings coming from people's homes. And obviously, users had no idea their private conversations could be listened to by real people. After the story went public, Apple immediately paused the program, stating it would review its policies, which basically means find better ways of hiding it going forward. Eventually, in 2021, Apple announced that users could opt out of having their Siri audio listened in on, which, I'm assuming that would be everyone. The situation led to a class action lawsuit in the US over the collection of voice data without proper consent. Ring cameras are supposed to make your home safer, but in 2019 and 2020, some families found out the hard way. Safety isn't exactly guaranteed. Hackers broke into Ring cameras and in some cases talked to youngsters through the camera's speakers. There are tons of videos online of this happening. It's almost its own subgenre of YouTube content at this point. One Chicago family had a hacker get into their Ring cam and start mocking the youngsters, shouting through the speaker. Amazon said maybe it was weak passwords or reused passwords and suggested two-factor authentication. Okay, but that doesn't change the fact that someone could be creeping on you and your family through your own camera. Kind of defeats the purpose of the whole home security thing, right? In February 2024, thousands of Wyze security camera owners got to peek into other people's homes. The company sent out emails explaining that a service outage had caused a, quote, security event when cameras were coming back online. Because of a little mix-up in the system, about 13,000 users saw thumbnails from cameras that weren't theirs in the Events tab of the Wyze app. Around 1,500 of those people tapped on the thumbnails and in some cases actually viewed video clips that they weren't supposed to see. Wyze said the problem was caused by a piece of software that temporarily stores data, which got overloaded when thousands of cameras tried to reconnect at the same time after the outage. That caused a confusion between device IDs and user IDs, so some camera thumbnails and video links ended up in the wrong accounts. Yikes. Before this glitch, Google's Nest had its own security camera glitch back in 2019. This incident, though, involving a smaller number of users, was arguably more invasive than the Wyze one, too. What happened was a few Nest Cam owners suddenly found they were seeing video feeds from other people's homes inside their own Nest app. Some users were actually able to view live streams from the wrong accounts. The feeds were coming from Nest's own cloud servers, completely bypassing the owner's physical security and passwords. When the story went public, Nest acknowledged the issue and stated it was due to a software update problem involving an older version of the Nest app on specific phones. They claimed only a handful of users were affected and that the issue was quickly patched, but that wouldn't have eased my mind. Every time I was doing something cringy when I think I'm alone, I'd never know if another glitch is gonna happen on my home security cam. That's why I don't have one. Samsung smart TVs have had a weird history with privacy. As far back as 2015, the company included voice-activated features that let you control your TV with commands to change channel or open streaming services, but there have been cases where the TVs recorded more than they should, sometimes picking up private conversations in the room. The TVs would only listen for the wake words, but the voice feature meant your living room was technically listening all the time. A few privacy groups argued that the TVs could send audio back to Samsung's servers for processing, and users weren't clearly informed that this could happen. The Electronic Privacy Information Center, or EPIC, even filed complaints, pointing out that TVs with these voice features might accidentally record things people didn't want recorded. So if you've got a smart TV in your living room, just know it is hearing a lot more than just channel numbers. Fitbits and other devices like them are supposed to track steps and heart rate, but they've also ended up recording stuff you probably didn't plan on sharing with anyone, like where you were and when. Prosecutors have actually used this data in court to challenge suspects' alibis. In 2016, for example, a woman named Connie DeBate in Connecticut was killed. Her husband, Richard DeBate, claimed a masked intruder did it while he was asleep. Problem is, her Fitbit told a very different story. Investigators looked at Connie's Fitbit data and saw she was moving around after the time Richard said the attack happened. Her steps and activity levels didn't line up with his story at all. That data became a key piece of evidence showing that he may have not been telling the truth. Fitbits automatically log activity and heart rate, and in this case, it contradicted a suspect's story. The courts ended up using it to build the case, and Richard was convicted in the end. Tesla cars have cameras everywhere, the front dash, the cabin, there are cameras on the sides. They're meant for safety and the self-driving feature, but in 2020 and 2021, reports came out that some Tesla employees had access to private footage, without the owner's knowledge, of course. Tesla said the employees were supposed to access videos only for security investigations or quality control, but some employees were not following that rule. Apparently, they were actually sharing clips with each other for fun. People bought these cars thinking the cameras were for their own safety, not so that, strangers could sit around watching them pick their nose, or worse. Some very private, intimate things can happen in your car, if you're lucky. My friend Cayla was a talking doll that used Bluetooth microphone to listen to and interact with children. You can guess where this is going. In 2017, regulators in Germany stepped in and told parents to destroy this doll, calling it an illegal surveillance device. The issue is that Cayla's microphone was always on and ready to pair with any nearby Bluetooth device, like a smartphone, within about a 50-foot radius. This meant a complete stranger could easily connect their phone to the doll without the owner's knowledge, use it as a remote microphone to listen in on a youngster's conversation, and everything else going on in the house for that matter. The doll, in effect, became a portable bug. The German Federal Network Agency considered the doll's design a breach of the country's surveillance laws. This led to a big investigation by consumer groups in the US and Europe who said the doll violated privacy and consumer protection laws. In October 2017, a tech blogger named Artem Rosokvatsky got his hands on an early Google Home Mini review unit, and something happened that wasn't supposed to happen. The device started recording audio from him all day long, without even hearing "Hey Google." When he checked his Google My Activity page, he found thousands of recorded snippets and timestamps that he never asked the device to make. The recordings were being sent to Google's servers as if they were real commands. Normally, the Google Home Mini only records audio after it hears a wake word, but it turned out in these early review units, there was a faulty touch sensor on the top of the device. That panel was meant to let users hold it down and activate the assistant without saying anything, but it misregistered phantom touch events, basically thinking the top was being pressed even when no one touched it. So that triggered the speaker to turn on the microphone, record, and upload audio clips all day. Google rolled out a software update that permanently disabled the touch to activate feature, so the Mini would only start listening after hearing a wake word going forward. But that's been the video for today, and I will catch you, yes, you specifically, in the next one.